right, here we go. We have Drag On from the legendary Ruff Ryders.
All right.
Welcome to VladTV.
Yes, how you doing?
First time we're actually seeing each other, meeting, all that.
First time we meeting each other.
That's right, man. Yeah. Although we've been in the industry for a very long time, you longer than me. But it's an honor to finally sit down and actually have a conversation with you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
This is our first time sitting down, so I want to start in the beginning. So you're from the Bronx?
Yeah, I'm from the Bronx.
Okay, so what was the Bronx like in the 80s, 90s?
The Bronx in the 80s was crack. You know what I mean? You know, that's all I remember. You know what I mean? You know, crack everywhere, crackheads, and I mean, you know, like a lot of buildings wasn't quite built at that time, so it was a lot of abandonment and, you know what I mean, you know, dirt piles and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But the Bronx was always home for me though, like, you know what I mean? You know, no matter what, I always felt comfortable, you know what I mean?
Right, and you're only child?
Yeah, I'm the only child.
Yeah, me too.
All right, that's what's up, that's what's up.
So it's a different type of mentality when you're an only child.
For sure.
So did you grow up with both parents, one parent?
I grew up with my moms. I grew up with my moms until I was 7, and then after that, my grandmother raised me the rest.
Okay, and what was your dad during that time?
My dad probably was running around smoking crack at that time.
Okay. Did you know him at all?
Yeah, I know him a little bit.
Okay, but he would just come around every so often?
Yeah, he'd pop in every now and then. Like, I probably was around him like 2-3 times as I mean, in my childhood life. I probably was around him 5 times altogether in my whole life, yeah.
I mean, did that bother you as a kid, just never really having your dad around like that?
Well, my grandmother did a great job at being my mom's and my dad. So, you know what I mean, you know, she kind of like fulfilled those, you know, like those needs, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, and your mom has some issues also?
Yeah.
Okay, and what was that exactly?
She was on drugs, nah, man, you know, like back in those days, it's like, man, it's like, I mean, you know, like all that crack stuff was like really in effect. That was like weed back then, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, when it hit in the 80s, I don't think anyone really realized the long-term effects of what it is, you know, because I've interviewed a lot of the, you know, the big drug dealers, like the Freeway Rickies, and people will start, you know, getting high and were functioning addicts. And then as the years progressed, it slowly kind of deteriorated. Yeah. I mean, was that hard with your mom being on drugs as a kid like that?
Yeah, that was hard. Like my first 5 years of me being with my grandmother, I had to see a psychiatrist for like 4.5 years.
Well, at least you did that.
Yeah.
You know, you're probably the 1% in that area that was actually even doing that. Most kids just had to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, like as soon as I got with my grandmother, you know what I mean, you know, like the state kind of took over and they seen, you know what I mean, you know, like all the stuff that I was going through at the age of like 7 and 8. So they was like, nah, you know what, he might need it. You know what I mean, you know, and they had issued me 5 years, and then I ended up doing 4.5 years.
Okay, now, you're growing up in this environment.
Yeah.
You said by the time you were 17, you were homeless.
By the time I was 15, I was homeless.
You were homeless at 15?
Yeah.
Okay, what led to you being homeless?
You know, my mom's actually cleaning back up, and then she was able to take me back. You found trying to say, like the state and stuff like that actually, I mean, you know, had issued her back her child. And then I got with her from 1993 to 1995, and then she went right back up on there. So then I had to go back with my grandmom's, but at that time I was already 15, and I was already kind of like in the street, and I was already really chasing my dream at the time too, far as with my music, and my grandmother didn't quite understand that, you know what I'm saying? So after a while, I had to get up out of there, and know, like, word, man, because I was really like chasing my dream. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but being 15, I mean, you're not really making a lot of money.
Exactly.
You know, it's a struggle. And I guess at one point, well, the way you even hooked up with the Ruff Ryders was you were in Harlem basically selling mixtapes?
Yeah. Yep.
And then who's the one that basically bought a bunch of mixtapes from you and took you back to the studio? D. Right.
And you definitely did some research to know that word for us. That's exactly what happened.
Okay. So D shows up, and I guess it was a bunch of Locks mixtapes that you're selling.
I was selling the Locks and DMX mixtapes. I was selling their mixtapes, and I was selling them on 125th Street, like directly across the street from the Apollo. And I was selling them out there. And then D had came by because that was the mixtape that actually like put DMX on the map too. And I was like one of the only ones that had a bunch of them. You know what I'm trying to say? So D came to me and bought like 20 of them, which that was a great payday for me. But he had remembered 3 years prior to that, me coming up to the Ruff Ryders, somebody had brung me to him. And he knew I was nice, but he still had a bunch of things on his plate. He still had the Locks. He was still developing them. I think he was just now introducing them to Puff and stuff like that. And then on the background, he still had X, you know what I'm saying? And then he had a bunch of other, he had Casino, he had Big Stan, like he had a bunch of artists and stuff like that too, so he couldn't really deal with me. But he kept me in mind, so when he saw me, he was like, yo, give me a call, later on tonight, like around 8 o'clock. And I called him at 7:59, and the rest is history.
Right. He took you to Powerhouse Studio in Yonkers, and he wanted you to battle a rapper.
Yep.
And lo and behold, it wasn't just any rapper.
Yep, it was DMX.
Right.
So I had to go up in there. I battled DMX for about like an hour. I lost for about an hour. And he really respected me though. You know what I'm saying? Because I kept coming. Because I ain't gonna front, the first 30 minutes, I didn't even know I was battling him. You know, you find like I'm used to the point where he rap, I rap, he rap, he rap. I didn't even know he was really coming at me until I'm really seeing him in my face like, hey, you want more? You want more? You want that? I'm like, okay, hold up. This dude's really going at my neck. You know what I'm saying? But he just respected because I kept coming at him. You find what I'm saying? I had millions of rhymes, so I just kept coming at him. And he was like, you know what I mean? You know, like he knew I lost. Everybody knew I lost, but they just really respected me. Like, yo, this dude keep coming, and he be saying this little slick stuff too. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it was.
Yeah, I think that was the most accurate DMX impression I think I've ever heard anyone do. And I've had like, the Ari Spears, who are on TV doing the real, the TV impressions. But that right there just gave me chills.
I ain't go front for real.
Okay, so you battle DMX, you lose. There's no shame in losing to DMX.
There's no shame.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I felt good after that.
And then do you get signed after that?
Yep. He pretty much co-signed me. He was like, yeah, I'm not gonna, like at that time, they pretty much went off of what he said too. You find what I'm trying to say? Like he also co-signed Eve too. He was like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna keep her. Like you find what I'm trying to say? So that's what he did with me, like first, before what I'm saying. Because like when I got there, Eve wasn't in the picture.
Right.
So he just co-signed for me, like, yeah, I'm not gonna front. I like this little dude. You find what I'm saying? Like, and especially once he found out that I wrote my own rhymes, because I was always like ahead of my time. So I was 17, but I was spitting like a person that was like 25, 30 years old already. So he just respected that I actually wrote my own rhymes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that was like 96?
That was 1997.
Okay, 97.
Yeah.
Okay, so you join around 97, and then in 98, DMX started dropping albums.
Yep.
He dropped It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
Yep.
And that just hit the music scene like an atom bomb.
Yeah.
Were you in the studio with him when he was making that?
Yeah, I was with him. The Ruff Ryders had sent me and had bought a house in North Carolina, and they sent me and him to that house, and we had to stay there and work both on our albums. You know what I'm saying? So I worked on Opposite the H2O, and then he worked on It's Dark and Hell is Hot, and that's where we really became brothers right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because you two kind of even look alike.
Yeah,
because I remember DMX even said like, yeah, Drag On, he even looks like me.
Yeah,
he looks like my little brother, like in real life.
Yeah, for real. Like no matter what, I was like his little brother the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working on It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Well, DMX is working on it.
Yeah.
And you show up on the song For My Dogs.
Yep.
With you, DMX, of course, Big Stan, Loose, and Casino.
Yep, and Casino.
Casino, sorry. And that was the second song you ever recorded in your life.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy you knew that. Yeah.
Do my research.
Yeah, for real. That's some research right there.
Yeah. Okay. So you put that song together. He's finishing up his album. Did you have any idea what was about to happen with that album?
I mean, like I knew he was gonna be successful. Where you found like I knew he was gonna be that dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, far as selling millions and stuff like that, like, you know what I mean? You know, me being from my project and stuff like that, I just couldn't fathom those numbers for any of us. I was just happy to just be able that I got a chance to show the world what I can do. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really expecting that song that I did for him, you know what I'm saying? Because I only had 8 bars, but it did so much for me, like on the street. You know what I mean? It made everybody was like, that distinctive voice, who is this? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm on there with like 4 or 5 other people, but it did so much justice for me, you know what I'm saying?
Well, he drops As Dark and Hell is Hot. It goes #1.
Yeah.
And then he does the unbelievable. He drops his second album.
Same year.
Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, same year.
6
and
months
that
later.
goes #1.
Yeah.
The only rapper in history to drop 2 #1 albums in the same year.
Yep. First album, 5 million. Second album, 6 million. 6 months apart.
What do you think of that album cover? When he's just in a tub full of blood.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know, like that really explained X though. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like that was like, you know what I mean? You know, like I loved his album cover better than mine. Well, you follow what I'm saying? Like my album cover looked like R&B dude on there.
I mean, it's hard to beat an album cover when you're in a pool of blood. Like,
yeah, his joint was like,
you know.
And it really fitted him though. Word, you follow what I'm trying to say? Because he was really like pouring his blood out into his music. You know what I mean? So I just felt as though that you know, like that photo was just dope. You know what I mean?
Right, and you show up on that album again.
Yeah.
No Love for Me.
Yep. No Love.
You, DMX, and Swizz.
Yeah.
And that's your favorite song that you've ever done with DMX.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite songs that I actually did with him because it felt good. And when we did that song, it was just me and him. And he came up with the whole format of how we were supposed to rap on it. If I'm gonna rock, I'm gonna rock all night. And then he made me, all right, Drag, like, you heard what I said? I need you to rap just like that. Like, he found what I'm saying? So he actually orchestrated the whole format of the flow and everything for that record. And I was just enjoying it. You found what I'm saying?
Right. And then he actually rapped about you.
Yeah.
On that song.
Yeah.
How does that go?
I wasn't even expecting that. You already found out because, you know, like when X Writers rhymes, it's not like he be saying it loud. He just be sitting back, right, and coming up thing. And so I just coming out the booth. I just got finished, you know, recording my verse. You feel what I'm trying to say? Because we actually recorded it exactly how the song is. Like his verse is first. He recorded his first verse, and then I recorded my second verse. And then, you know, X is like, hold on, he ain't finna just. He went back and killed it, but he gave me the mean shout out in there, which I was just shocked in the studio, like, oh yeah, I'm finna be up after this. Yes, sir. He just said my name.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? You know, it don't get no better than that.
Right. Can you spit the line that you're talking about?
He said, I fuck with Drag On because it spit the flame. Drag On, motherfucker, don't forget the name. And we all gonna, and just that little part right there, I was just like, yeah, I'm up. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he really helped my career. You know what I mean? You know, he catapulted. You know what I mean? For real. He's the one, like, why I'm here talking to you today. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then right around that time, that's when the Survival of the Illest tour happened?
Yeah, Survival of the Illest.
Before the second album or after the second album?
The Survival of the Illest was pretty much like throughout that time right there.
The same time, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, yep.
And you were actually DMX's hype man.
Yep,
during that
DMX's hype man. I was the one that said every part, every last word of his sentence. Wow.
How is that to be, you know, the hype man on the biggest tour, the biggest hip hop tour of that time, with the artist with the #1 album, with the hottest crew?
Yeah. I just was humbled. You feel what I'm trying to say? Like, I was DMX hype man at the same time. I also used to roll up the weed for locks. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, like, I really paid my dues in this game.
Well, then 1999, DMX dropped his next album. Then there was X.
Yep.
And you're on that again.
Yeah.
Hard White.
Yep.
Featuring you and the Locks.
Mm-hmm.
How was that song?
That song was dope, like, you know what I mean? You know, because we was already comfortable with working with each other at the time, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of like just knew what we had to do, you know what I mean? You know, me, I will always be the first one to lay my verse, and then everybody hear it, then they go back and then they write their joint, and then everybody just come in and record.
Right, and then the Ruff Ryders Ride or Die Volume 1 compilation. That had Down Bottom
with me and
with you and Juvenile.
Yeah.
Right. And that was really the first time that New York rappers and down south rappers were really on songs like that.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna say it's the very first time, but
yeah, like that was the first time it became broad. Like, you know what I mean? You know, like you found trying to say, like that song right there actually made it okay to do songs with people from out of town, you know what I'm saying? And they are just as great as us, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like when I did that song with Juvie, they asked me who I wanted on there, and I actually chose Juvie because, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I am a huge fan of Juvie, you know what I mean? And that song he had out at the time, I feel as though it was the dopest song out. Like, I mean, you know, the only song, I mean, you know, like, yeah, I was listening to DMX song, and then I would listen to Juvie record, you know what I mean? Because that record was so big, so.
You talking about Ha?
Yeah.
She was that badass bands, huh?
Yeah.
You can't keep an old lady, keep fucking her friends, huh?
Yeah, it's like that right there was something different for me. I like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Now, I just interviewed Juvenile. The interview's actually not out yet.
Oh, word? Oh, okay. Yeah, Juvie, my homie.
Oh, yeah,
man. For Juvie's the homie.
He's epic. That first album was epic.
Yeah.
That just changed everything, I think.
Yeah. Yep. I think that album sold 10 million. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, then that same year, Eve had her debut album, Let There Be Eve, Ruff Ryders' First Lady, and you're on that as well.
Yeah.
On Let's Talk About It.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how big Eve was going to be?
Yeah, well, I mean, like the way the record labels was carrying the situation, and then with me listening to her music and how dope she was, I always knew she was going to be super successful. Like, you know what I mean? You know, as far as with what she did, because, I mean, you know, for one, I always respected Eve because she write her own rhymes. You know what I'm saying? That's like real difficult, especially with females. You find trying to say, like a lot of females will be right. And it's a lot of females that do write their rhymes, but the ones that do write their rhymes don't really be getting the recognition like that. So Eve actually got her recognition moving her own pen, so I just always have respect for her.
Well, then that same year, the Hard Knock Life Tour happened with Jay-Z, DMX, Method Man, Redman, and you were on that tour as well.
Yep, and that's when I actually got to perform, you know what I'm trying to say, versus, I mean, you know, and I think I was still his hype man at the time, but I had songs.
Yeah, so you guys
too,
got to
you know what I'm saying? So I was actually able
yeah.
to perform the No Love for Me, and you know what I mean, you know, and the Ruff Ryder the Ruff Ryders, what? You know what I'm saying? So I was able to do a bunch of stuff like that.
Right, because the Ruff Ryders Anthem, you're on the remix of that.
Yeah, I'm on that. I'm on that. So I was able to do a few records. Like I actually came out twice. I mean, like every night on the Hard Knock Life Tour. You know what I mean? So that prepared me for the next one.
I mean, was there some level of competition between Jay-Z and DMX? Because they kind of have this interesting history how, you know, they battled at one point. But were you there when they battled?
No, I wasn't.
You know what I'm talking about? On the pool tables and all that?
Yeah, but that was before I was around.
Yeah. But on the Hard Knock Life Tour, was there a level of competition between these two?
I think it's a level of competition with every New York artist, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every New York artist is in competition with each other.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I ain't gonna front.
Well, then that next year, 2000, the Locks end up, you know, doing the whole Free the Locks campaign.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to come over with you guys, which is really where they started anyways, because D and Wah were managing them.
Yep.
They just signed them to Bad Boy. And
exactly.
They ended up finally getting freed and joined Ruff Ryders. Yeah. So now they're part of the whole, you know, the fold officially.
Yeah.
They put out We're the Streets.
Yeah.
And then the Ruff Ryders Cash Money Tour happened.
Yeah.
I was at the Oakland show. That never happened.
Wow.
A riot broke out in the Oakland Coliseum.
Oh, behind stage. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I think was that when it was fighting and stuff like that behind stage, backstage?
Well, no, it was actually someone had the great idea to put a bunch of folding metal chairs on the floor of the Coliseum.
And
you know what? And people just started hitting each other with the chairs and throwing people off of the balconies and all that.
That's crazy. I didn't even know about that.
It was insane.
Yeah, that tour was crazy though.
But that was just an epic tour because, you know, Ruff Ryders and Cash Money were already fucking with each other, like on your song.
Yeah.
And you guys were the two hottest crews.
Yeah.
So the tour was just bananas.
Yeah.
TK Kirkland was the MC on that show.
Yes, sir. TK Kirkland. I was just telling you about that. Yeah.
Regular guest on my show.
Yeah.
When I asked him his craziest DMX story.
Yeah, he was there.
He was there. He said that they were all on the tour bus together, right? And X was on the bus. X had seen like a group of girls in a car pull up next to him.
Mm-hmm.
He jumps out the car, jumps off the bus, jumps into the car with the girls, drives 2 blocks, crashes, and gets arrested.
Yeah, that sounds like DMX. Yeah, that sounds about right. That definitely sounds about right. That definitely sounds like something he would do.
You know, when you say this sounds like a DMX story.
Yeah.
What was some of the craziest stuff that you were seeing with X?
With X, I've seen X get pissy drunk and then go in the studio and make magic. I've also, like, you know what's the craziest story with me and X? Was when I saw him write a whole song in an hour and 20 minutes or something like that, like an hour and a half. And the song, and the song was called Damien. And he wrote that song in an hour and a half. That to me was crazy to me, you know what I'm saying? Because I never really wrote, a song that fast. So after that, I tried to do a song that fast too. And I was able to do it in the hour and a half, but with not the hook. He actually able to write a whole song, which ended up being Damien, and it's being a hit all over the world. And I watched him write that song in North Carolina in an hour and a half. He was actually timing himself. He was like, you know what, Lola? I'm gonna see how fast I can write this joint right quick. How fast you think I can write it? I was like, I ain't gonna front. You do write kind of fast though, you know what I mean? But an hour and a half, you know what I mean? You know, and he wrote that song in an hour and a half, timed himself.
Crazy.
Yep.
Well, and then that same year, your debut album comes out.
Yeah.
Opposite of H2O. Album debuted number 5 on the US Billboard 200 chart.
Yes.
How did that feel? Because you're pretty much on every Ruff Ryders project up to this point, but now, you know, there's always the question of, you know, are people gonna fuck with you as a solo artist?
Mm-hmm.
But you come out, and not only do you debut number 5, but the album eventually goes gold.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
You know what? I mean, like, it really didn't register. Like, if I'm trying to say, far as being number 5 on the Billboard and stuff like that. Like at that time, it really didn't really mean, far as being number 5. All I really cared about was that people enjoyed it. Like, people really liked me as an artist. People liked my music. People liked what I was doing with others and stuff like that. I wasn't really, it was people around me that was keeping a track with the numbers. Yo, Dragler, you number this, you number that. Me, like, soon as Opposite of H2O came out, I started working on another album, like, right away. I wasn't even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spit These Bars, that was my shit.
Yeah, that's the first rhyme I wrote without a pen or paper. I was just, I found out that that's what Biggie and Jay-Z was doing, and then me being in the studio with the Locks, I was able to see it firsthand and see Jadakiss and Styles do it. So I wanted to try to do it. I said, let me try to write without a pen or paper, just come up with bars and keep saying it until I come up with another one and keep saying it. And that's the first song I did that on, and it came out good.
Yeah, that beat was stupid. That's Swizz?
No, that's Shock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Great song.
Yeah.
Great song. Well, then Ride or Die Volume 2 comes out. You show up on 2 songs. Then the next year, you start showing up in movies.
Yeah.
Exit Wounds was the first one.
Yep.
And DMX just pretty much just got you into that movie?
Yeah, they offered another dude to play his little brother in there. He kind of like denied the movie unless they put me in it. So I still had to audition, but I did kind of good at the audition. So with him saying he probably won't film it unless I'm in it, and then with me actually doing good at the audition, like it actually worked out for me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that says a lot. That someone would turn down a major film because their little man wasn't going to be cast in it.
Yeah.
Who's not even an actor.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
when
right.
you really take a step back and say like, who would do that? Like who does shit like that except for DMX?
Yeah, for real. If I say like, there would never be another DMX.
Facts. Eve came out with her second album, Scorpion, and you show up on Got What You Need, which is like a club banger. I remember at the time that was like it wasn't like a huge mainstream hit, but I remember in the clubs they were playing the shit out of that song.
Yeah.
Great song. One of my favorite Eve songs, honestly.
No, thank you, man. For real. Appreciate that.
Well, then DMX comes out with The Great Depression, and that's the first album you don't show up on.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a reason for that?
It wasn't no. See, at that particular moment, you know what I mean. Like the record label and everything was starting to change. You know what I'm trying to say? Not the relationship between me and DMX, just the whole record label as a whole. You know what I mean? Far as when you deal with the majors and then when you're dealing with a production company, they started to play a different type of game called divide and conquer. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's when they started like separating. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, okay, you over here, and you over here, and you over here, and you over here. So that's what, and that kind of like hurted the momentum of everything, you know what I'm saying, when they started doing that. But that album was still great though. That's still, like, that's actually one of my favorite albums, and I'm not even on it, so.
Oh yeah, did that have Slippin' on that album?
I think Slippin' is on that album.
Yeah. A lot of people, say that's their favorite DMX song, period.
Yeah.
And I can see why.
Slippin' is a worldwide record that everybody can relate to because everybody went through it. You follow? Everybody have been on their A game for something and have slipped.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, that next year you show up another film, DMX, Cradle to the Grave.
Yes.
Where you end up fighting Jet Li.
Yep, I co-starred that joint right there. That went smooth because it's the same director of Exit Wound.
Okay.
And Romeo Must Die and stuff like that too. So I did good in Exit Wound. So when I went to audition for Cradle to the Grave, Joe Silver wouldn't even let me audition. He was like, Drag, you got the part. You don't really got to audition. But it was crazy that went on because I was studying my part for like 2-3 months because I have a real bad stuttering problem. So I have to be a little advanced than other people. You know what I'm trying to say? Like when I get a beat, I got to get it a little earlier. If I get a script, I got to get it a little earlier than probably all the other actors. So I was auditioning for 2-3 months, went up in there nervous. He like, Drag, relax. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted you to come up in here so I could see what you look like, see you still here. I'm like, this. Oh, word, I don't got to audition. I got the part. Yeah, you got the part. So that's how I got that part. Word.
Dope. Well, then that same year, DMX's Grand Champ comes out, and you're on that. You're on Untouchable. With you, Sheik Luch, Selena Johnson, Cross, and Infrared.
Yep.
Dope song, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, dope song. And then around that time, you left Interscope.
Yeah.
Okay, and you joined Virgin.
Yeah.
Was there a reason why you left?
I didn't really know what was going on. You feel what I'm trying to say? I didn't even really want to leave. I didn't know what was going on at that time. That was in the hands of the Ruff Ryders, you know what I'm saying? As far as me going to Virgin, I didn't even know I was going to Virgin until I was on Virgin. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what was going on with that.
Okay, and you released your second album, Hell and Back.
Yes, Hell and Back.
That one didn't do as well as the first one.
No.
Why is that?
It had no promo.
No, there you go.
Yeah, you found out. So like bottom line, it had no marketing. Like a lot of people, like the numbers that I moved on that album was because at that time, albums that dropped the same day, they put them on the same shelf. And Kanye West album, the College Dropout, dropped the same day. So that's how I was able to move the little 120 or 200, whatever I moved, because everybody was rushing to the store to get that album and then seeing mine like, oh, hold up, is this the new Dragon? Let me see. And just off of that curiosity is what I think brung the little bit of numbers that did. But it had no promo, no song playing nowhere, video, nothing.
Right. And eventually that was sort of your last run with major labels.
Yeah.
Because how long did you last on Virgin before you guys parted ways?
After that album, I was done.
You were done.
I was pretty much done with everything. You find what I'm trying to say? And I even got my releasement from Ruff Ryders maybe 2 years after that in 06, 07. I left them.
Right. And why did you leave Ruff Ryders? Because that was your family pretty much.
Yeah, but I was always struggling over there. You find what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to keep, you know what I mean? Like X was really my protector over there. You know what I'm saying? So like whenever they would shit on me, he would be like, hold on, listen, we're not doing that unless drag is involved, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just got tired of that. You find what I'm trying to say? At the end of the day, all I wanted to do was put out music and touch my fans. You find what I'm trying to say? That's just what I want to do. So, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I just had to part ways, you know what I'm saying, and start my own company.
You started your own label. At one point, you dropped Stand Up, which is a Sean Bell tribute song.
Oh, that was just a song that I just jumped on. Like they told me to jump on it, so.
Oh, it wasn't your song. It was.
No, it wasn't my song.
Yeah, because Swizz is on it, Styles, Mano, Cassidy, and Talib Kweli.
Yeah. Okay.
Talib
Kweli.
Yeah, that was a dope song, and I think an important song as well.
Yeah.
Considering what happened to Sean Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
A few years later, Game and Meek Mill were going at it, and your name gets mentioned by Game.
Yeah.
So then you do a response record.
Yeah.
How did that ultimately end up? Did you and Game ever have a conversation, or?
No, we never had a conversation. I haven't spoke to him. I haven't seen him or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But see, me, I come from battling, so that's where I come from. I come from the whole being in the circle and battling and gotta hold your weight. So so like what was said by him on that record, I just really didn't appreciate it. You know what I mean? You know. So
he said, "I'm old Dmx. You dudes just drag on."
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, you actually rated his bars. I think like on BET or something like that.
Yeah. I rated his bars.
You actually said that you wouldn't give it a 1, you'd give it like a 4 because he shouted out DMX.
It was a scale of 1 to 5, and I think I gave it a 4.5, almost a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason why I gave it a 4.5 or 5 because it caught my attention.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, then in 2017, Ruff Ryders had their 20th anniversary tour.
Yeah.
How did that feel to be on that? I mean, because it was you, DMX, Eve, Swizz, The Lox, and people like Fat Joe and French Montana were joining in and so forth. And you guys completely sold out the Barclays.
Yeah.
Like, how did that feel after 20 years to really do it that big again?
It felt great because for one, I was in Brooklyn. You know what I'm trying to say? So, Brooklyn is New York. That's home for me. So, I just felt at home on stage. I felt very relaxed. I knew the people that I was performing in front of. Are people that was raised just like me. You know what I'm saying? In the same New York City. So, I actually felt home. I felt comfortable on stage. You know what I'm saying? And the crowd accepted me again.
During these years, the 20th anniversary tour was in 2017. Are you still in touch with X on a regular basis? Do you guys ever catch up? Do you guys run into each other? Do you guys?
Yeah. We speak. We hung out. We chilled, kicked it. We went to Philadelphia one time. Chilled, did a show. You know what I mean? Like whenever the Ruff Ryders would leave me out on stuff, he will be the one that'll bring me in. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the Rock the Bells thing that he did, you know what I mean? And I came out and I performed all that. You know what I'm trying to say? That was just set up for just DMX and the Lox and Eve, you know what I'm saying? But then X called me, Drag, I'm over here in Jersey. We're doing the Rock the Bells thing. I need you to come over here right now. So I figured out a way to get over there, and that's how I was able to perform. You know what I mean?
During those years, X is having issues.
Yeah.
He's in and out of rehab. He goes to jail at one point for tax evasion. You know, when you see your brother going through those types of issues, and you know, to be fair, X was having some of those issues even before he became a rapper.
Yeah.
You know, I interviewed his ex-wife, and we talked about sort of, you know, his rough background and so forth like that. Would you try to help him with that, or is that just a big homie? And you know,
X knew not to ever do anything of drugs or something like that. I mean, and I've said this in other interviews, and they didn't quite believe me, but X never did any drugs around me. He already knew, you know what I mean? Because he knew my history of how I grew up. You feel what I'm trying to say?
parents.
Like pretty much lost my parents to that. You feel what I'm trying to say? Because of that, you know what I'm saying? You know, somebody else had to raise me. So he never tried any of that with me. Like I never saw him do anything far as drugs or get, you know what I mean? I've seen him get drunk though. I seen him drink the Hennessy. I'm sorry, he was drinking a lot of Hennessy to the point where even he knew he had to quit that. That he kind of chilled out with the Hennessy, then he started drinking some other light liquor or something like that. But, you know, but far as anything else, nah, he never tried any of that around me. I never even seen that, like not one time. And I put that on my daughter.
I believe you.
For real.
I believe you. Well, then this year, 2021, April 3rd, everyone got the news that DMX had a heart attack in his house in White Plains. But when you first heard the news, what'd you think?
You know what I mean? You know, like at first, it didn't quite register, you know what I mean? You know, I had to really like sit back and take it in. And my whole thoughts was he was gonna pull through. You know what I'm saying? You know, that was just my thoughts about it, you know what I'm saying? I knew he was working on an album at the time. And then I know he have a bunch of kids that he actually love and take care of and stuff like that. So that was the first thing came to my mind, like, damn, you know, he working on his album. He's actually, you know, looking like he's back happy again. You feel what I'm trying to say? So, you know what I mean? You know, my mind was just like, you know, I don't think God gonna take him away yet. You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm trying to say? I mean, you know, I feel as though he's gonna pull through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and because I was, you know, we were in the process of trying to schedule an interview with him during that time. Even Swizz kind of got involved to kind of help us out with the process. And I remember I was talking to his right-hand man, and he was kind of explaining to me how, you know, X had really gotten clean around 6 months before that, which is why he gained so much weight. You know, because when you start to kick a habit, you know, that's what's keeping you skinny a lot of times. He was the heaviest you'd ever seen him. And that was because he was getting clean. And, you know, and I was talking to people that were there, and no one really knows what happened. They just know that he was upstairs. They heard a loud bang of him falling, and then they called the ambulance. And then by the time that they got over there, I guess he had not been breathing for a while.
Yeah.
So they rushed him to the hospital, and then he was there for about a week. Did you try to visit him in the hospital or anything else like that?
Well, due to COVID, they wouldn't let nobody go
because
inside.
he had COVID, from what I understand, when he got to the hospital.
Yeah, like just due to the, you know what I mean, like far as the COVID situation, I kind of found out about that. I was hearing that about, you know what I mean, like I found out about that after the fact, you know what I mean? You know, but just due to the COVID, they wasn't letting nobody go up there, like not even his family. You know what I'm saying? So.
How hard was that week when he was in the hospital every day?
Yeah, that week was hard, you know what I mean? You know, that week while he was in the hospital, it was just deep prayers. You know what I mean? It was deep prayers, for real.
When you finally heard the news, I mean, because I remember I talked to his man the night before he passed, because every day there was a new rumor. Oh, DMX passed away. And it's like, we'd have to put out an article saying, no, he didn't pass away.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like, you know, like Lunel had posted something that he had passed away, and I talked to his man. He was like, no, he didn't pass away, but he's going into organ failure right now. So he's probably going to be taken off life support tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the next day, he was taken off life support. But when you finally heard that he was, you know, they let him go, how did you feel?
I just felt like, you know what I mean, you know, now I'm in the industry. I was born with no brothers or sisters, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean, you know, it kind of just went back to that, you know what I'm saying? But it was different because I was born with no brothers and sisters as far as in real life. But in the industry, I had a brother. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel as though I just lost my brother, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm in this industry right here, and this is a nasty industry. So Now I just feel as though I'm just in here by myself, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember you had posted up a video of you actually crying.
Yeah.
On Instagram, but I guess it was a couple of days afterwards.
Yeah, that was I mean, that was the day that I mean, everybody had found out. I actually knew he passed away a couple days before everybody knew.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, just me seeing all the love that he was getting and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, is what really brought it up. Then me 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 and my partner Z Riddler, the night before we was going over some music because I had a show I had to do. You feel what I'm trying to say? So we was going over some music, and then I was hearing that This Is For My Dog and all the songs that I did with him when I first started. So that next morning it was on my mind. And then with everybody on my page trying to figure out why am I not posting everything, because for some reason people think Instagram is the solidifier, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was not a solidifier for me, you know what I'm saying? While everybody was posting, I was actually just praying, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like when I found out about that, I just really feel as though I was by myself, you know what I'm trying to say? Just far as my mentor, my brother, my protector, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, he left behind 17 children.
Yeah.
Of various, from a couple of months old to 20-something years old.
Yep.
A very big family, a lot of people, who are depending on him.
Yep, hell yeah.
Such a
and
talent.
I happen to know he loved all 17 of them too.
I believe it.
Yeah, all 17 of them.
I believe it, yeah.
He's in all of their lives, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. For real, he definitely, like X was doing a lot more than what people know.
So the memorial happens. And you were actually on stage at the memorial, and you spoke.
Yeah.
You spoke about it.
Mm-hmm.
You could really tell the pain in your voice being on that stage. But also, it was like the celebration of his, this man's life was also, just really exceptional. The fact that, there was such, so many people there that truly just loved him.
Yeah. Like, when I went up there, it was no, like, this is a crazy subject for me to talk about. You feel what I'm sorry.
No, take your time.
It's a crazy subject. Like, I would never think I'd be talking about this right now. You know what I'm saying? For real.
I mean, he was only 50 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, X was young. X was just everything to me, you know what I'm saying? So, when I went up there, I wasn't prepared for no speech and nothing like that. I just went up there and spoke from my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For real. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's just such a tragedy. And I was such a huge fan myself. Like we were literally one of my great regrets is that we never really got to, to interview him, because I really wanted to, my man Sean Prez was actually supposed to do it.
Oh, okay.
He was the one that kind of was going to do the interview, but we were involved in it, and it was just like, you could look at a lot of artists and say, oh, he got his style from him, or he kind of sounds like this person.
Yeah.
Dmx don't sound like nobody. Like Dmx sounds like DMX.
DMX got his own style. DMX helped me develop my style. You feel what I'm trying to say? Like DMX, he's the one that changed my name. Like, it's just crazy because I said I was gonna be tough on this joint, man. My original name was Dragon, you know what I'm saying? And that's my original name, you know what I'm saying? Because I started rapping when I was 8 years old. So of course that sounded like an 8-year-old name, of course. You know what I'm saying? But
Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, my very first name, like my actual whole name was Sabertooth Dragon. You know what I'm saying?
Dragon.
So I was, that's letting you know how early I was writing my rhymes. I was writing rhymes in 1988, 89. I already had books, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, when I got with him, and I could tell that name kind of bothered him as far as with the Dragon, you know what I'm saying? And then you had the Cisco dude out there calling himself the Dragon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which we was cool with him too. But, you know what I mean? You know, so he just like put the dash there. He was like, nah, you know what? You signed now. You on now. A lot of people wish they could get on, but you on. So you know what? Look, we're going to put the dash there. It's going to be DRAG-ON, drag on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, X was the one that gave me my name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But when you said X was a genuine person, he had love for me instantly. It was natural for him.
Yeah.
When he came across people, if he rocked with you, he rocked with you. And if he don't, he don't.
Yeah.
But he was always genuine about it. He'd be like, yo, X, what up? He's the type that would probably tell you, dog, listen, I don't really fuck with you. He was real kind-hearted too. He was a giving person.
Yeah.
And he didn't care about you giving it back. He felt as though it was a blessing that came from the Lord.
Yeah.
And his stuff was always very, very spiritual. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's talking to God and the devil from his first album. You know, I remember his spiritual advisor sent me a video of him doing his first sermon.
Yeah.
And it seemed like his relationship with God was something that was like of the highest priority. Yeah. To him.
Yeah. 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 Like X was a different type of dude. You find what I'm trying to say? Like X was very spiritual. You know what I mean? You know, it was one time I was looking on TV and I seen this dude, you know what I mean? He was a white dude, you know what I'm saying? But he was racist, right? You know what I mean? It was him and his wife. And they was real about it though. You find what I'm trying to say? I actually respected it because they was real about it. It was like, listen, we don't deal with this race. And they was going into the black people and stuff like that. They said, listen, and we don't mess with no black people. If it ain't DMX, we don't care about nobody. And I was just like, that's just letting you know how broad this man was, how many people he touched. The people that I was watching on TV was 100% racist and straightforward about it. We don't mess with blacks, we don't mess with this, we don't mess with that. And if it ain't DMX, it ain't good. That's the only blacks we will deal with is DMX. And it's like, but it was because of his spiritual. They spoke on, like, they didn't really say too much about his music. They said his words that he speak, he's different. But all the other black people, fuck him. And it was different for me. You find what I'm trying to say? It just really let me know how powerful my brother was. You know what I'm saying? He touched the world. Like, for real. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he comes out with his debut album, it goes #1. He's probably never taken an acting class in his life, and yet he's starring in films. Like, I remember I had interviewed him when he was at Power 105 with Ed Lover. Yeah. And I was telling him how big of an impact Belly had on my life. It literally changed the course of my life. I became a DJ because of that film. Yeah. The Jamaica scene in that film.
That's hard.
Was the reason why I literally moved to New York and decided to just, you know, switch my life. And it was funny because when I was telling him that, and I was telling him about how dope his collab was with Sean Paul and Mr. Vegas, he was like, I don't like reggae no more. He just goes into this whole thing of like how he don't fuck with Sean Paul and like how he don't really fuck with reggae and like, you know, kind of the backstory of how he wanted to get on the Give Me the Light remix and the whatever. And it's just like, there's no filter with him.
There was no filter.
He didn't think about whether, you know, how this is going to come out or what the repercussions of. It's like, this is how he feels and this is how he's going to say.
Yeah, this is how he's going to let you know.
You know, and I got to say, you know, because I did get to film him a little bit.
Yes.
And out of the 1,000+ people that I've interviewed over the years, I've never had a situation where I just had to just press the record button and X would just be the star of the show. Completely. Mm-hmm. Completely. Yep. Just an absolute star from top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Without trying to be. The cameras didn't have to be on. Like, you know, he was just DMX and that energy 24/7.
Yeah.
Drawn to the camera, you know, started a bunch of films.
People called him DMX, but he always was just Earl the whole time. That's Earl, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's how Earl is. Earl, the one from Yonkers, if he rock with you, he rock with you. If he didn't, he didn't. You know what I'm saying? You know, if like, all he really cared about was his dog that he had. That was like his real best friend. You know what I'm saying? So all he really cared about was dogs. So when he was in Yonkers and stuff like that, he used to be by himself with dogs. So far as with people and stuff like that, he just never really had like too much of a trust as far as with people. He always trusted a dog because he know a dog unconditionally is gonna always show him love no matter when he leave. When he come back, that dog gonna be at the door. And that's what he appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He was all about unconditional love, not conditional love, where it's like, okay, I rock with X because he lit right now, but you know what I'm saying? You know, he was aware of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And dogs don't do that.
These days, people are getting tatted up from head to toe, but he was one of the first rappers I'd ever seen to get a full back tattoo.
Yeah.
And it was of his dog.
And I was there for that too. It took him, that was like 3-4 trips.
I bet. I mean, it was a
3-4
huge
trips
tattoo.
to the Bronx. That was in St. Lawrence and Westchester. And he went in my man Uncle Ralph tattoo spot, which is around the corner from my hood where I'm from. And he was going there. He got the one. It was killing him. Came back, got the love. It was killing him. He was like, yo, that's it. And she gonna say one love. I'm good with one love. Dog. Then after that, he put the one love boomer.
Yeah.
So he came back. I think he just put the boom. Then came back and put the ER. Like, it was killing him, you know what I'm saying? But he sat there and he got that joint done. You know what I'm saying? Word, you follow what I'm saying? But you know, I was actually there when he got that tattoo on his back. Yeah, that joint killed it, but he got it.
Yeah, I mean, who do you know that tattoos their actual dog on their entire back?
Yeah.
With the dog's name.
Yeah. In big letters.
The entire back.
Yeah.
No one has done that since.
Yeah.
Or before.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, man. Such a unique talent, man. And such an epic loss. And like I said, we were days away from interviewing him.
Yeah. That interview would have been dope.
Yeah. Yeah, it really would. Because, you know, we really were going to dig into his whole background, like his relationship with his mother, you know, and how he was even drawn to the dogs was because he was living in such an abusive home. He became homeless. And at one point, the dogs really kind of became his friends.
Yeah, for real.
It's like a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I'm talking about, he used to, he used to sleep on the roof and stuff like that, you know, you find out?
Yeah.
And sleep in peace because he knew that dog was right there. So, like those that knew he was up there or tried to creep up or just try to do whatever, that dog was up there and he never really had it.
Aha.
Yeah,
so it's like his protection, his bodyguard, basically.
Yeah, it was his protector, you know what I'm saying? So he would sleep up there and he ain't got to worry about nobody coming through the door because the door, like the door would make a noise and his dog is not really on it, like, you know what I mean? Like he treated his dog like his homie, so he didn't just always chain him up and strap them. No. It was something. His dog would be running right around on the roof with him or be laying down next to him. They hear something get up, and his dog gonna get up and get to you first. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember I interviewed Kid from Kid and Play, and he was saying how he ran into DMX in LA. You know, he was like basically hustling dudes for pool.
Oh, probably on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
At the Saddle Ranch.
Saddle Ranch.
That's right. Trust me.
You know about this already.
I was there with him every night, like Cradle to the Grave. That's what we did every night.
Yeah, I mean,
every
basically,
night,
he was
Saddle
like,
Ranch.
taking these fools for their money, like
every day,
every day.
Yep,
but
every
when he
day.
told me, like, so he's hanging out, you know, and X is a fan of Kid and Play, right? And they walk out to the car, and he said that DMX had a girl in the car with the dog in the car with her, and the girl was just terrified. Was just like sitting there, like, oh my God. Oh, like, you know, like you got this huge pit bull like in the front seat with the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And he would, like, you know, and I'd hear these stories. I remember I interviewed Lunel and she was like, yeah, like DMX would go to the hotel room with all his dogs. The dogs just be pooping in the middle of the lobby. X didn't care. It was just like, yo, like he just loved those dogs almost more than humans.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had love and respect for his dogs more than humans.
Mm.
You feel what I'm trying to say? Like, and that's just, I know it sounds weird, but I mean, like the dogs that he had in his life growing up and stuff like that actually protected him though. It was different, you know what I'm saying? Like he actually used them for security. He actually used them as companion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it was like, they really like held him down. You feel what I'm trying to say? I mean,
Yeah.
like the dogs was, to him was like having like a crazy ass little brother that just ain't playing no games with nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like he really lived by that. You feel what I'm trying to say?
Have you ever seen the dogs like actually attack or bite somebody?
No.
Never.
Nah. I've seen the dog try to attack, you feel what I'm trying to say? But he pretty much like X had a bunch of dogs and stuff like that, but when he was on the road, he would probably bring like 1 or 2. So he was able to control them if they, but he had one dog, I think the dog name was Stinker, and that joint was, like that joint used to bark at me, you feel what I'm saying? And I always was around, you feel what I'm trying to say? Like that dog knew me and all that. But it's like once we got around people and stuff like that, that dog just ain't really like, like the dog was cool with me if it was just me, him, and X. And then the dog would be running around, chilling and stuff like that. You feel what I'm trying to say? And then, but once we get in public, it's like the dog is barking at everybody, including me. So I probably go to it because I'm thinking he know me from over there. And he be right at me too. Like right now, I ain't in the mood right now. You feel what I'm saying? It's mad people over here. I don't even know these people. You know what I'm saying? So it was just different. You feel what I'm saying? And I think that dog name was Stinker. Yeah, like that was the one you had to really worry about. You know what I mean? Word. I mean, because he was like Dmx. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you said if there's 2 words to describe DMX is energy and passion.
Yeah.
Said even if you found other words to go with that, you cannot leave those 2 out. Those are mandatory. That's DMX. That's why the world loved him, and that's why we loved him. His energy and his passion were something from out of this world.
Yeah. Yep, out of this world. Like the energy he had, you know what I mean? It was a time where I was stuck on a few bars or stuff like that, like on a rhyme, right? And I'd be stuck on one. I'd be like this, yo. And I'd be like, this is half of what I got. But now I'm stuck right there. And then he'll just come up with the rest of my line real quick, like, drag. You thinking too much, bro. Listen, just write the joint. First thing come to your mind, write it down. That's it. Like his energy was totally different. I'm like, nah, I wanna sit back and take my time. He like, yeah, see, that's what it is. See, trying to be extra lyrical, all the lyrical, man. Listen, write the first thing come to your mind, spit it like you mean it, and it's gonna be good. And that's what he was. You feel what I'm trying to say? If you really listen to him, yeah, he had bars, but a lot of his stuff was just real. You know what I mean? A lot of his rhymes that he wrote and actually wrote it was like the first thing came to his mind. Like, listen, if I thought about this must have meant something, so I'm gonna write that down. And then he just makes sure he say it right. You know what I'm saying? That was his thing, you know what I mean? As far as delivery, you know what I mean? Bars, he didn't really care about that. Like, you feel what I'm trying to say? Like, X would get on a MC song that got super bars and kill them with just his delivery and energy. You know what I mean? You want more? You want no? You want and that was just his energy. You know what I mean? It wasn't really too much about, you know what I mean? Like he'd write down the first thing come to his mind sometimes. Like he only with no thought, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so his energy was through the roof, because I never really seen no rapper do that like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nor will you.
Yeah.
Nor will you, because you can't redo a DMX, man.
Yeah.
You really can't. And man, I'm sorry for your loss. Like I said, I was in the room with him once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and got to record him for maybe about a half hour.
Yeah.
But I didn't know him. This sounded like your brother.
Yeah.
This is the dude that put you on.
Yep.
And the dude that kept you in.
Yep, it kept me in.
Kept you in when other people, were trying to divide and conquer and whatever else, man. He took care of you, man. Like that was your big brother, man.
They divided.
I could hear the pain in your voice and the tears they came out earlier. It's something that
yeah, it's real with him. Like with him,
man. I know the pain is hard, but every day it gets a little easier.
Yep.
You know, and
Yeah.
you know, the one thing that you can say is that you guys have songs together. I mean, how many songs do you guys have together?
Man, we got a lot of songs because we did. See, he put out like 4 or 5 albums that I'm on, but then us as a whole, we put out like 5 albums as far as compilations, part
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 4 or 5. So we did a lot of songs. Then we also did a lot of songs that never came out too. So
Oh,
I
so
mean,
there's some Drag On DMX songs that are unreleased.
yeah, probably.
Huh.
Like I know, like when I left Ruff Ryders back in '07, I actually had to do a whole nother album in order to get out of my contract.
Okay.
So I know for a fact they got a whole album of me, if I'm trying to say, but me and X did, you know, like a few records and stuff like that. That probably didn't quite meet the quota, you know what I'm trying to say? But yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of times those songs get remixed, you know, new beats and
Yep.
and everything else like that. He's got a new album that's coming out that Swizz
Yes.
produced.
Exodus.
Exodus.
Yeah.
Exactly. Are you on that?
Nope.
Okay. But you never know in the future. It sounds like there's probably a lot of verses that are floating around, so you never know.
Yeah.
You never
Oh,
know.
no. I'm not on that album. I'm not on that album. But that album is incredible. I know it is.
Oh, you've heard it?
He got a lot of big features on there. And I probably only heard maybe like 2 records or stuff like that. I haven't
Okay.
heard too many of it, but the 2 records I heard is dope. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, him and Swizz are magic. They always have been, along with the Dame Greases and everyone else who really kind of contributed.
Yeah.
Man, so like I said, man, I'm sorry if you're lost, but
Yeah.
you guys have music that's gonna live on forever.
Yes.
You know, and that's, as an artist, I think that's the most important thing.
Yep.
To create something that lives past our lifetimes.
Yep.
You know, and you have those songs. You know, your kids will eventually, you know, be able to profit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The revenue streams, the publishing, and everything else like that will be passed down to your children.
Yep.
And you know, you're part of a very important legacy.
Yeah.
You know, with DMX and with Ruff Ryders.
Yeah.
And with your own,
Yep.
you know, catalog on top of that, man. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming in.
Yes.
And I wish you only the best, man. And, you know, congrats, you got a new project out as well.
Yes, I got the new album out. It's called Pound BOF 4. It's streaming everywhere on every platform, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon. It's called Pound BOF 4. You know what I mean? You know, nothing but up and coming producers on there. It's crazy. And the name of my record label is called Hood Environment. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So, you know, follow your boy in the gram. Drag_on1. You know what I mean? So, you know.
There we go, man. Until next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.